morning.
Good morning. No. Sit.
Please, sit down.
Your Holiness, as we work with your sound, I'm going to begin the speech to save a little time. Yes, please. Your Holiness, on behalf of all the Buddhist organizations represented here today, Thai, Vietnamese, Burmese, Sri
First,
Lankan,
I want to know Thai. You're Thai. Okay. Then
Burmese,
Burmese,
Vietnamese,
Vietnamese,
Tibetan,
Tibetan. Yes.
students, Trondheim Student Association.
Right. Okay.
We thank you for coming. Just as your presence has been an enormous blessing, so too is the way in which your visit has given us the opportunity to join together, not as separate organizations, but as one Sangha that must continue to work together to support the Dharma here in these northern reaches of the world. As it was not possible for Your Holiness to attend the inauguration of the Tibetan temple in Oslo, Karmatashi Ling, this June, we warmly invite you to visit there on another occasion in the future. As an expression of our gratitude on behalf of all of us gathered here today, Lama Changchop would like to make a small monetary offering in support of your unyielding commitment to bring the world together as one family. Your Holiness, we pray for your long life. We pray for peace in these troubled times, and we pray that we may also follow in your footsteps of wisdom, compassion, and leadership. Your Holiness, please.
Indeed, I feel great honor meeting small group who follow Buddhist teaching in non-Buddhist country. Actually, more or less, I think, extreme northern world, right? Like that. Broadly speaking, now today's world very much close each other. Then all major religious tradition is actually belongs to humanity, not individual country. Like Christianity all over the world, and Muslim also all over the world. So Hindu also, many different parts of the world, the people who follow Hinduism also there. So similarly, Buddhism also one of the religion, world religion. So at the same time, I usually telling or carrying belief that each country, each community, they have their own tradition, including religious tradition. So it is better to keep their own religion. That's safer. Sometimes you see change religion, sometimes create more confusion. So it is better. You see, now for example here, Norwegian, through generations, the concept of creator, God, there, the culture is very much related with Judeo-Christian, or say the tradition. Most of the West, most of the European countries like that, including America, Australia, New Zealand, they mainly Judeo-Christian sort of was the background. So it is better. In Asia, although there are a number of people who follow Christianity, but basically our cultural heritage very much related with like Burma, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Laos, even China, Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Tibet, Mongolia, and also some part of Russian Federation, traditionally Buddhist. So you see, their cultural heritage, their way of life, very much related with Buddha Dharma. So it is, while in the West, I always make clear that I never sort of make attempt to conversion or to propagate Buddha Dharma. I never. So similarly, in like Mongolia, some Korean Christian missionaries there. So sometimes they come to see me, then I told them, this is not Christian country, this is Buddhist country. So you see, any Christian brothers, sisters, you see, helping for education and so they help, most welcome. But making sort of effort, conversion, it is wrong. When I met, I always tell that, like that. So therefore, I think we Buddhist, as a Buddhist practitioner, we must respect the local tradition and the local religion. That's important. Then meantime, out of millions of people, like we Asians, out of millions, there are some people find Christianity is more effective, more suitable. So they follow Christian, or some cases Islam, or Hindu. So similarly, in Christian sort of community, out of several thousand, this is some, from the Buddhist viewpoint, because of their previous lives, sort of some, let's say, karmic link, they develop some interest towards Buddhism, and they actually found Buddhist way of approach is more suitable. So then, that's individual right. If you really feel Buddhist way of approach is more suitable, more effective, more helpful, then up to individual's right is it to follow. But then, you should not criticize your previous religion. To yourself, no longer much effective, but that does not mean no longer helpful to humanity. No, still humanity, receive immense inspiration, institution. So we must respect like that. That's my basic sort of thinking or attitude like that. So then, to Buddhist, I always stress, now we should be 21st century Buddhist. That means, you see, like among Tibetan and also Chinese, and also I think Thai, Burma, I think Vietnamese, I think quite similar. We simply, you see, brave. We simply pray to Buddha, Buddha Vishanam Gacchami, Dhamma Vishanam Gacchami, Sangha Vishanam Gacchami. But do not know what is Buddha, what is Dharma, isn't it? And the Four Noble Truths, the dukkha, incorrectitude, the cause of dukkha, and then nirodha. As a Buddhist, we must know what's nirodha, and we should know the possibility, how to, possibility to achieve Buddhahood. Achieve nirodha, and step by step, further, finally, the final nirodha is nirvana, moksha. So we should know, you see, the nature of nirodha and moksha, and the step by step, so how to achieve that. Not seeking something from outside, no. We do not have the concept of creator. the Buddha made very clear, you are your own master. If effort must, you should do. Buddha cannot give you, give us, what's it, nirvana or mark ourselves, you see, develop that way. So therefore, you see, the 21st century Buddhist means knowing these things and then follow Buddha Dharma. I often tell you, the Chinese brothers, sisters, Buddhist brothers, sisters, it is not sufficient just say, Amitabha, Amitabha. A Tibetan, Om Mani Padme Hum, not sufficient. You must study. As far as Tibetan Buddhism is concerned, translation, mainly from India, about 300 volumes. We usually study these things. So that's very, very important. In Buddhism, Pali tradition, wonderful. Pali tradition, the concept of Four Noble Truths and the 30 kasa, 37. These are common practice in Sanskrit tradition also. That practice of Shila, Bhikshu, Shamanaya, same. We carry the precept 253, Pali Moksha, Buddha Moksha, about 227. This is 4 Parachika, same. 13 Sangha, what called, that also you see, same. Then 30, good, 30, that also same. Then next 90, I can't remember the word, name. The 90, Pali tradition 92, Sanskrit tradition 90. Then minor precepts about lower garment or upper garment and how to eat, how to walk. So these the Sanskrit Pratimoksha 112. The Pali, I think 75 or something like that. So some in minor sort of precepts, some differences. That also you see not serious. So but basically same. We practice Vinaya. Exactly the same Pali tradition and Sanskrit tradition. Then Abhidhamma. Now here, you see the Sanskrit tradition, Paramita Sutra, is the key sort of text of Abhidhamma. So now mainly, you see, thoroughly explain about concept of shunyata or anatma. Anatma, further deeper, wider way, the concept of shunyata. Here also, according to Chitta Mantra's view of shunyata, and Madhyamika's Chinese tradition, I think, Tangshan has a community. Shenzang, he received teaching from Dhammapala in Nalanda. So Dhammapala, there was a great scholar of Chitta Mantra school of thought. So in China, Chinese Buddhist tradition, in philosophical field, more Chitta Mantras view. Although all the Chinese Buddhist, as well as the Japanese or the Korean, they all consider follow Longsu Pusa, Nagarjuna. So these, so Sanskrit tradition, about the 300 volumes. It's a very detailed explanation of these things. And then, so it is important to study. It's not sufficient. It's just recite some Namo Tase Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhase without detailed knowledge. So we should, people who have interest about Buddhism, firstly, you should study Buddha Dharma. And then, once we develop full conviction, according to your experience, it is something very suitable, very effective, then follow Buddhism. That's important. One occasion, some Thai student who studied in one Indian university came to see me. They said, you from Thailand? Thailand Guru. Oh, so they little complaining. In Thailand, or the Thai student, is in Thailand, it's not sufficient to explain from monk about Buddha Dharma. So the monk simply carry some rituals or so. Of course, in Thailand, Buddhist university also there. So recently, I met about I think 10 monks, most of them teachers, and then some academic students and lay professors. I met about 60 of them. Of course, from time to time I met many Buddhists from different Buddhist countries. So very recently I met. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So they are academic, as university professors, very good. That I think we should pay some attention. That's important. That I want. Now a few questions. Now time to go, but a few questions.
Do you have questions? When is Martin last question? Yeah.
As you know, we are from very different traditions and from different nations, and we wonder how we best can use our differences as a strength instead of something that divides us. How can we best work together as one sangha for the sake of Dharma?
Top the Shila, Shamatha, Parya, or Vipassana, same. That's the basis. Then some categories: Sanskrit tradition, Pali tradition. Within Sanskrit tradition, as I mentioned earlier, theoretically, Vipassana, Sotantik, Vivashega, yes, Vivashega, Sotantik, Chitta Mantra, Madhyamika. Further goes subdivisions and three yanas, Kasa, Sharvaka yana, Buddha yana, and then Bodhisattva yana, like that. So then, further sort of that, correct. Your chin.
Still we can go down to subdivisions.
Then also, you see the Tantrayana. Tantrayana, basically, Hindu Tantrayana, Buddhist Tantrayana. There are many similarities. The demarcation, Hindu Tantrayana and Buddhist Tantrayana is concept of shunyata. Hindu Tantrayana based on concept of Atma. Whole Buddhist teaching, you see, the main sort of concept is Anatma. Otherwise, you see the 6 chakras, three veins, and Chandalini, Kundalini, these quite similar. Hindu Tantra. I met some occasion some Hindu practitioner, Hindu tantric practitioner. They also exercise yogi practice. And then pause.
Projecting your mind out of the body.
나가는 신기 중주.
So it also transferring your consciousness into another body.
So these are common. So that's why, you see, even today, many Buddhists criticize Tantrayana is not Buddhist, not Buddhism. And also, the 1,000 years ago, you see, since 1,000 years, even you see the Mahayana, so-called Mahayana, is not true Buddhist teaching. Still, you see, there are people. You see, therefore, you see, more interaction there, and more of meeting and exchange. That's it. 이 말이야, 그 좋은 말이야. 나, so, paranja shila, I mean, 가서 shila, 아니, samadhi, paranja, vipassana, broadly same. And we all recite three repeats of Buddhism, Samosana, Dhammasana, Sammasana, Bhajan, we all say. Actually, the people, Buddhists, follow Theravada tradition or Pali tradition, you are senior. We follow Sanskrit tradition, is junior. So I'm not just. Sanskrit tradition, Buddha stated, I think Pali also, I think some Pali Sutra also I mentioned, Buddha stated, all my followers, bhikshus and scholars should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. That's a very scientific way. We have right to put question towards Buddha's teaching. So, investigate. Like Nagarjuna and Chandrakirti actually reject some Buddhist teaching. You see, this sort of teaching, the concept goes against reason. Therefore, we should reject. I think that's unique. No other religions. The masters or teachers, or the founders say, you should believe my word. Buddha say, oh, not necessary. You yourself must investigate. So about, I think 40 years ago, I developed some sort of interest or desire, a dialogue with scientists. So then one of my friend, you see, then expressed to me, oh, be careful, meeting with scientists, it's dangerous. Science is killer of religion, therefore be careful. Some have that kind of opinion. Then I thought, I reflect this Buddha's word. You should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation. So the scientific research is actually that line, research. Finding, analyze. So now here, the Madhyamaka philosophy's view about emptiness, absence of independent existence. Now that philosophical view exactly because of the quantum physics view, exactly same. So one of my Indian friend, Raja Ramana, you see, he mentioned to me, as an Indian, he feel very proud when he found the quantum physics in the West, something new. In India, 2000 years ago, already found that concept. So he, as an Indian, he feel very proud. So like that. So therefore, you see, investigation, not easily accept, remain little bit of skepticism, then investigate. Then here is experiment, spiritual field, experiment does not mean in laboratory, but our brain should take as a laboratory. And then as an experiment here, like concept of impermanence, very, very helpful. And accept concept of nothing exists by objectively, much mental projection. Most positive sort of thinking based on valid reasons. So more investigate, become more firmer. Right? Ka. Tabu. All destructive emotions such as anger, attachment, jealousy, too much pride, right? You see, these emotions actually, you see, not based on solid sort of concept. All these destructive emotions based on ignorance. So no basis. All, you see, based on concept, things are objectively exist. When we develop attachment, or things objectively exist. So grasping that. Enemy, anger appears. Even one American scientist, now his age, 96 years old, several decades, you see, his sort of study and experience. Now he mentioned when we develop anger, the object appears very negative. But actually, 90% of that negativeness is mental projection. No base. So further thing, often you see, we experience, you see, one day we lost anger. That moment, you see, that person or that thing appears very negative. The next day, say due to some other factor, someone telling you, oh, that person is very nice and much sort of praising to you, then immediately that anger disappear. Then feels something nice person. If anger based on solid sort of basis, then that anger must remain even next life. So there is no sort of proper sort of solid basis. All are mental projection. Something happened, change. Something happened, change. So the Nagarjuna's view, Buddha's teaching, I think the Vietnamese and Chinese, you see, we always recite Gade, Gade, Para Gade, Para Samgade, Buddhism, isn't it? The Vietnamese marriage, the Vietnamese. So it's a different pronunciation, but you see, you also recite the Heart Sutra, no? Panchaparamita Sutra. So they are the Gade, Gade, Para Gade, Para Samgade, Buddhism. So here is mentioned, physical is empty, empty is physical. So that further goes, I'm empty, empty is I. So Patit Samupad, Sanskrit word, Patit Samupad. Okay, like that. So Patit Samupad, that's something common, all Buddhist, isn't it? Third ring, Patit Samupad, isn't it? Like that. Okay, now time to go. One last question.
Your Holiness, Taishin today. I want to tell you the story of Trondheim Buddhist Association. I want to tell you the story of Trondheim Buddhist Association. When we formed this club 2 years ago, it's a student club at NTNU, and our dream is to bring students from different parts of the world and different religion or no religion together to meditate in silence for once a week. So we did that, and thank you for making our dream come true today, because you bring together all the Buddhists in Trondheim. And can we request to take a self-photo with Your Holiness?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now next month, we are going to have one meeting, some and some serious discussion for the Vinaya.
The taller ones can stand in the back. If the taller ones can please come in the back.
Yeah, okay.
Alle Hawaii bak yana.
Come together, everyone needs to squeeze in together, please.
Så fort som mulig.
Come, let's squeeze in together, everyone squeeze in.
Veldig tett. Så tett som mulig. Ikke bare genert. Tett så tett som mulig.
You know, out of 7 billion, 1 billion non-believer. There is also human being.
Yeah, ready, everyone?
Okay, please look this way.
everybody.
Okay.
Please make room for holiness.
So your work, I really appreciate. You see, the closer understanding each other, very important. Then non-believer, they are human being. You're a human being. Need. Sort of a sense of affection. We should not sort of create sort of impression non-believer is outside. Should not do that.